My husband was diagnosed with depression. He needs to rest. I need you to rent me your house. Why would I do that? When my husband and I refused, my sister-in-law and her husband took us by surprise. But it seems like their plan backfired. Linda, you got what you deserve. Please, make sure they pay for their crimes. My name is Michaela. I'm a 32-year-old office worker. My husband Aaron and I have been married for 6 years. We have been together since high school and started dating when we were 18 years old, so we've been together for 14 years now. Even after all those years, we're still in love just like we always have been, and we feel very happy every day. After graduating from high school, my husband and I went to the same university. There, he studied business administration and I studied English literature to improve my English skills. We both did well in our studies in university and got good grades, which we used as an advantage to get jobs. After that, I got a job at a small company and started to work very hard and became a certified interpreter while I was working. My husband got a job at a large company and is working very hard. We both worked hard at our jobs and made time for each other. We continued our relationship and got married when I was 26. We actually didn't have a wedding. That's because we were trying to save money. My husband and I have been saving money since before we got married. It was for one goal only. We both dreamed of building our own home. So even after we started working, we lived at each other's parents' houses and saved money until we got married. We got married when we both started advancing in our careers. My husband got a promotion and I got my certification and started working. And even though we started to have more money, we tried to rent cheap apartments as much as possible. We didn't go out to eat except on anniversaries, and we cooked our own meals. We felt that we were making a good living, and more than anything, we were happy knowing that we were saving more and more money. We could see that we were doing the right thing, and we were very happy to visualize that we were moving towards our dream of owning a home. Once we had saved up a certain amount of money, my husband and I started going to real estate agencies and began thinking about getting our own house. I was so happy and content during that time that I felt my dream of owning my own house was becoming more and more realistic. When my husband and I had meals together, we would often talk about the house and we would naturally come up with ideas like, I want this one. Now, 10 years after we both started working, my husband and I have finally decided to build our own home. I couldn't have been happier. It had always been a dream of mine to build my own home since I was in high school, and I told my husband about that when we were just dating. And now, it was finally time for our dream home to come true. I have been excited every day since we started construction for the house. Michaela, you seem to be in a good mood. Really? To tell you the truth, the construction for my house just began. Oh, I see. It's always been your dream, right? Yes, since high school. That's a very long time. No wonder you're so excited. Once the house is complete, please come over. Really? I'd love to. Sarah is my senior, and she is an interpreter and a pretty good one at that. When I was just starting out as an interpreter, she supported me a lot. She's 3 years older than me, but she is so cool in her fashion, her mood, her way of speaking, and her little gestures, and I admire her. She has an aura about her that makes you think you are in a fashionable European town just walking around with her. And when I talk to her in person, I can see she's not trying to pretend to be something she's not, but just living her life as it is. I hope to be a cool woman like Sarah someday. When my dream of owning a home comes true, I'm going to work hard on improving myself. As I was spending my days thinking about these things, my home was finally complete. Wow, it's amazing. The house is just as I wanted it to be. When we arrived at the completed house, we were impressed just by looking at the exterior. And once we got inside, it was amazing. It was exactly what my husband and I had asked for after consulting with the realtor. This is going to be our future home. I'm getting really emotional, you know. We're going to live here together every day and make a lot of memories. I'm excited just thinking about it. We'll probably have a baby and we can play together in the yard. A boy or a girl? I'd like a boy. I want to play catch with him. I want a girl. I want to go shopping and go to cafes with her. My husband and I were thrilled and excited the whole time, and we had a lot of fun talking about the future. After that, we started living in our own house. Every morning when I wake up, I'm so happy knowing that I get to live in my own home. The kitchen is very easy to use. I enjoy cooking every day. I naturally wanted to try out different recipes, and my cooking skills improved as I went along. We also invited our respective families to the house. When my parents arrived, they were both moved into tears. I'm so happy for you both. I'm glad you were finally able to fulfill your dream. Mom, Dad, don't cry. There is no way a proud parent would not cry during this moment. I was happy that my parents were happy to see that I was so excited. And when my in-laws come over, they were all so touched. It was really nice. You can tell they talked it over and made the house exactly the way you wanted it. That's what my in-laws were saying. Oh, look at the kitchen! I wish I could use it. That's what my sister-in-law exclaims. She's 2 years older than my husband and I, but she is a bit mentally young and childish. And she was more excited than others. It's amazing, amazing, amazing! You and your family are going to live in a house like this? I mean, we already live in it. We built this house, my husband told her. But my sister-in-law was excited as ever, looking around saying, "Oh, I'm so jealous." And there was one more person who was excited. That person was my sister-in-law's husband, Tyler. Hey, there's quite a few rooms. The big yard would be perfect for barbecues. It makes me want to live here. That's for sure. My sister-in-law and her husband were joking, of course, but my husband and I were a little taken back by that comment. We didn't want them to say that they wanted to live in our house that we had worked so hard to build. Well, after that, we were all too busy eating and drinking together, so my husband and I decided not to mention it. But then, about a month later, I got a call from my sister-in-law out of the blue. Hey, Linda, what's wrong? I rarely receive phone calls from my sister-in-law. What on earth did she want? The house of yours is wonderful. Will you let me live there for a while? I was surprised when my sister-in-law called me and suddenly said something like that. What do you mean by that? First of all, I didn't understand what she meant. Is she asking to move in with us? My husband has depression. Oh, really? I'm so sorry to hear that. It's been hard, very hard. He can't go to work anymore. He's been resting in the room right now. But he seems to be in a lot of pain. I see. So please, he needs some rest, so let me rent this house. Why would I do that? I'm sorry that Tyler's depressed, but I can't just rent you our house. Wow, you're terrible. You're supposed to be nice to sick people, aren't you? I mean, even so, put Aaron on the phone. He's not back from work yet, but I think he feels the same way. We won't let you rent our house. That's your opinion, right? Aaron cares about his big sister, so he'll definitely rent it out to me. Where on earth does my sister-in-law's absolute confidence come from? I ended the call by saying I'll talk to my husband because I was afraid she would pester me endlessly with requests. I told this to my husband when he came home from work and he was stunned. Of course, I won't allow that. What is Linda thinking? My husband said that and called Linda himself, but she still wouldn't back down. Do you not have a shred of kindness in your heart? Tyler is in so much pain. You're a heartless person. Even I could hear my sister-in-law's screams through the phone. My husband, not wanting to beck and call, coldly dismissed her, saying it doesn't matter what you say to me. But my sister-in-law hung up the phone, saying she'd go talk to him in person next time. I was on speaker, so I heard what my sister-in-law said too. I feel really dumbfounded. What in the world is she going to do when she comes over here? And a few days later, my sister-in-law and her husband really came to our house. Please, please, please just give us the house. Tyler is in a lot of pain. Tyler looked pale, much different from the last time he came to visit us. I still can't rent you the house, but what the hell happened? My husband asked, looking tired. He's actually harassed by his boss. It's driving him crazy. I'm sorry to hear that. Right, so please. No, that's crazy, right? What? Why do you need to rent our house? Because like I said, Tyler needs to rest. It's going to feel more like a vacation home in this new house. In this house that you've been living in, right? It'll lift up his spirits and help with the depression. Huh? My husband sounded annoyed. My husband and I feel the same way. My sister-in-law's logic is far-fetched and ludicrous. She's probably trying to make it look like they wanted to live when they first came here. But neither my husband nor I deceived such an easy-to-see lie. I wouldn't rent the house no matter what you say. You say he has depression, but you have a medical certificate or something. Has he reported this to the company? There are procedures to get medical benefits and all that. Did you report to the company that he was being harassed by his boss in the first place? What's the company doing about this? I don't trust someone who says they're suffering from depression when they don't even explain those details at all. My sister-in-law and her husband seemed to panic when my husband spoke up. Hey, don't say those things all at once. Tyler and I have never been in a situation like this before. Anyway, it's true, he's depressed. Just let us rent the house. No means no, just give up. When my sister-in-law tried to force us to rent the house to them, my husband stubbornly refused. When we wouldn't budge even after she raised her voice in anger, my sister-in-law finally cursed at us for being bastards and took her husband home. We were so tired. I doubt he's depressed if they're acting this way. I'm really sorry for the trouble she put you through. I'm so glad you said no. This is our home and we won't let anyone take it away. My sister-in-law and her husband were a pain in the ass. But it was still nice to know that my husband and I had a strong bond. But then something unexpected happened. When my husband and I refused, my sister-in-law and her husband took a surprising step. What? You gave Michaela and Tyler money? When my husband received a phone call from my parents-in-law, we learned a shocking truth. It seems that my sister-in-law and her husband told my parents-in-law that Tyler was suffering from depression, and my parents-in-law gave them money. Why did you do that? Because I feel sorry for them. In times like this, we should support each other as a family. My parents-in-law seemed to completely believe my sister-in-law and her husband's story, and no matter what my husband said, it was all they did for them. My parents-in-law has been giving them money to my sister-in-law and her husband frequently since then. I can't believe they're taking advantage of my in-laws like this. What they're gonna do is nothing but fraud. My husband and I couldn't be more disgusted with my sister-in-law and her husband, but we have no proof that Tyler is not depressed, so we wonder what to do. Then, one day something unexpected happened. Sarah, you don't look so well. Yeah, I had a little too much to drink last night. I had a drinking party with some of my classmates from college. I see. Your classmates must be a lot of cool and fashionable people. No, they're not. They're all old men and women. Well, I can't tell that them, though. Laughing, Sarah showed me a photo that she took at that party yesterday. Huh? When I was shocked when I saw the photo, but could that man in the suit be... Oh, Tyler? Do you know him? Well, yeah. I see. Did Tyler seem to be doing well to you? Huh? Yeah, he was very energetic. He's been wearing expensive watches and recently bought a car. A watch and a car? I felt anger welling up inside of me. Michaela? The anger must have been showing on my face, and Sarah looked at me with concern. I'm sorry. What happened? Does it have to do with Tyler? To tell you the truth, I told Sarah everything. There's no way he has depression. He said yesterday he was covering for his subordinate at work when he made a mistake. He's working like a normal person. So he was lying after all. That's disgusting. He was using the money he got from his wife's parents to live lavishly, right? When Sarah found out the truth, she got very angry with him. She promised to explain to my in-laws with me and my husband. Is that true? I was drinking with Tyler and I heard him correctly. So I don't think he's sick. He's going to work as usual, and with the money you guys gave him, he and his wife are spending it on luxuries. I told you, my sister has been lying to you guys. My in-laws were shocked to learn the truth. I'm going to call Linda and her husband right now. My father-in-law said that and called my sister-in-law. And an hour later, my sister-in-law and her husband arrived. Dad, why'd you call me here all of a sudden? My sister-in-law was instantly disgusted when she noticed me and my husband. Why are you here, Aaron? I'm here because it's important for the family. Huh? What are you talking about? At that moment, Tyler came up behind my sister-in-law and pretended to be weak. But the moment he saw Sarah's face, Tyler froze in place. Hello, Tyler. Why are you here? I explained to Tyler, who was turning pale. She's my senior at work. I had no idea that you and Sarah went to college together. She told me that you guys saw each other at a party the other night, and she told me all about it. Tyler's face is getting paler and paler. Linda, you lied to us about Tyler being depressed. What are you talking about, Dad? Tyler is really depressed and he can't go to work right now. Lying to all of us like that won't help you now. We know that Tyler was covering for his coworkers' mistakes and that he's been taken aback by his most recent work accomplishments. My sister-in-law finally understood what was going on. Mom, Dad, this isn't what it looks like. Then what is it? You deceived us. No, what do you mean depression? What do you mean unable to work? Have you ever given the slightest thought to those who are truly suffering from the disease? It's the end of you as a human being to tell such a lousy lie for the sake of your own luxury. My sister-in-law and husband were completely freaked out when my father-in-law yelled at them so angrily. I'm going to ask you to return the money I've given you. What? That's impossible. I already spent it. And you'll have to work or sell whatever you bought to pay us. If you don't pay us, we'll report it to the police. The police? Oh, no! The couple slumped down on the floor, looking pale in relation to the situation. Afterwards, Linda and Tyler ended up selling their car, watch, and other things to pay back my parents-in-law. However, they still didn't have enough money, so Linda, who used to be a housewife, is now working part-time to pay back the money. Sarah told the other university classmates about the incident, and even people at Tyler's workplace found out, so this began to embarrass him. The manager and the head of the department sarcastically said to him, "You seem to think that everything is power harassment." My sister-in-law and her husband tried to deceive us, and my parents-in-law with terrible lies, but as a result, they had to pay the price. Please, my life is so hard, I can't stand it. Can you believe me just this one time? One day, Linda and Tyler came to our house and got down on their knees and asked us to help them, but there's no way we were going to help them. Linda, you got what you deserve. Please, make sure they pay for their crimes. Don't ever get involved with us again. If you ever come back here, we'll call the police. After we said that, my sister-in-law and her husband ran away from our home quickly. I don't know how they've been doing since then, but I guess we can rest easy, know that they stopped coming. They caused us a lot of trouble, but I'm glad it's settled for now. My husband and I were relieved to be back in our own home and enjoying our life again. Sarah, thank you so much for everything. It's fine. I'm rather sorry I didn't realize that my lovely junior was in trouble. As an apology for the trouble my classmate has caused you, let's go out for a drink together today. I'll pay. All right. Thank you. I'll follow you for the rest of my life. I can't thank Sarah enough for giving me the opportunity to expose my sister-in-law and her husband's wickedness. I'd like to buy her a drink, but I'm going to treat her to a delicious home-cooked meal the next time I invite her over. Please, tell me another interesting overseas story today. Sure. Today I'm going to tell everyone something that happened in Brazil with a young man who worked in an ice cream shop. I can't believe that Linda lied about her husband's illness and stole money from her parents. What a scammer. And I can't believe she thought Michaela and Aaron would allow them to live at their home. I'm glad Michaela and her family were able to protect their house from Linda.
Wait, it's really no good.
Despite my husband's attempt to quickly stand up and stop me, the side dish unexpectedly came to the rescue. With a swift motion, my husband extended his right leg and accidentally stepped on the side dishes, slamming his body onto the floor.
Ouch!
Ignoring my groaning husband, I energetically opened the door. Surprise! Well, I already knew. When I saw off the paramedics, I noticed some unfamiliar woman's shoes placed at the entrance. You see, my name is Eleanor, and I work as a manager in a company. I have lived a life solely focused on work until now, but I got married 6 months ago and now live with my husband, Owen. My husband and I are 5 years apart, and I'm the older wife. Our paths crossed 8 years ago. He came to my workplace as a salesperson for a job magazine, eager to make a sales pitch. I still vividly remember that moment. As a recent graduate, he had a nervous expression on his face as he dived into the sales pitch. My husband, who had recently become independent from his senior colleagues, was unsure of whom to approach and appeared flustered at the reception desk. And it happened that I was coincidentally there. I returned from a slightly late lunch to find my husband at the reception desk. "Is there something I can help you with?" Unable to get a response from him at the reception desk and sensing his suspicious behavior, I approached him.
I came about the job magazine.
Oh, I see. Did your contact person change?
Huh?
My husband looked bewildered. Being a newcomer, he was eager to knock on the doors of this company. However, job magazine contracts are usually handled by the headquarters of major companies. Unaware of this, he was determined to secure a major contract. Unfortunately, he ended up coming to the company where I work, which is a subcontractor. When I explained this to him, his face turned beet red.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, not at all. I believe that kind of enthusiasm is really important in your work, you know. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
At that moment, I found my husband so fresh and adorable. Or so I thought. But there was no romantic feelings involved. I simply thought he was cute as a newcomer. So I completely forgot about this exchange at the time. Fate is an unpredictable thing. It honestly slipped my mind how much time had passed since then. But my husband and I unexpectedly ran into each other at a store near the company. Yes, I had forgotten about the interaction with my husband at that time.
I appreciate your help back then.
Huh?
At your company's reception.
Oh, right. How have things been since then?
Yes, there are still many difficult things, but I'm somehow managing and doing my best.
We engaged in casual conversation and then headed home, but we continued to run into each other several times at that convenience store. We exchanged contact information, and I was probably the first one to become aware of each other as potential romantic interests. I really wanted to support him in his clumsy but hard work. However, what still concerned me was the fact that he was 5 years younger. Although I had feelings for him, I couldn't clearly express those feelings. It was at that moment when he asked me to be in a relationship, and I gladly accepted without any hesitation. Since then, we have been dating for a long time, and it has brought us to the present. I felt happy to have been able to marry the person I loved so much. However, 4 months after our marriage, he decided to quit the job he had been working so hard in as a salesperson for the job magazine. Of course, he consulted with me before making the decision to resign.
No matter how hard you work as a subcontractor, you can never see a clear future.
While he works as a salesperson for the job magazine, he is not an employee of the company that publishes the magazine. He is actually an employee of a company approved to conduct businesses as a subcontractor for the major company. I knew from the beginning of our relationship that he was a subcontractor. However, it was after we got married that he started expressing these concerns.
In that aspect, Eleanor, you're in a better position. You have a stable job as a proper employee.
I find myself at a loss for words during moments like these. He's a full-time employee of the company, and I'm sure he's in no different position than I am.
Since the change in department heads, I'm really struggling. The quotas have become more demanding, and lately, I haven't been able to meet them. I'm constantly getting scolded by the department head.
I see. What if you try a different approach?
That's what the department head also mentioned. So you're still a manager, Eleanor. Did you forget how it feels to be in a lower position?
In the end, no matter what I say, it doesn't seem to reach my husband, who has fallen into a negative mindset. Lately, my husband has been like this all the time. Honestly, I was tired of this atmosphere.
I want to quit my job.
I couldn't affirm or deny those words. I thought that if it meant being liberated from this negative period, it might be worth considering and accepting.
From now on, I'm thinking of being a full-time house husband. Eleanor, you enjoy your job, don't you? I'll put more effort into taking care of the household tasks in return.
However, there were some words he said that I found hard to understand. Can someone who has never really done household chores suddenly be able to handle them? It seemed like he was underestimating the work involved in managing the household. Certainly, there is a difference between working outside the home and taking care of the household. But managing the household encompasses providing food, clothing, and shelter, and it's a demanding job. I honestly struggle with household chores, and I have deep respect for those who can smoothly handle them. I wonder if he can handle all of that. It's a significant doubt. Household chores. Have you ever done them before? Oh, and you were living with your parents until you married me, right? Besides, even after we got married, I was the one doing the household chores, right?
I don't mind. It's just household chores.
Just household chores? Those words really bothered me. Just? It's not something that simple.
It's okay, it's okay. Being a full-time house husband is just the right kind of job for me.
I can't help but feel that my husband's remarks are belittling the role of a house husband. It didn't sit well with me. We owe our ability to live our lives to this point to the foundation provided by our parents. In my family, specifically, my father worked outside the home to earn a living while my mother took care of the household. It was the collaboration of my parents that made me who I am today. Both are important jobs that must not be lacking. My husband seemed as if he didn't get that.
Eleanor, you think I can't do it, don't you?
That's not true at all. I was just a little unsure. You know, I've never seen you doing household tasks before.
We won't know until we try, right? Are you already doubting me before I even start?
It's not exactly like that. However, I've seen many junior colleagues at work over the years. Most new employees are full of enthusiasm, but as they get more accustomed to their work, some of them start cutting corners. But they lack experience. That's why they sometimes overlook the areas where corners can be cut, which can lead to significant mistakes. And they all have something in common. At first, they are all eager and say, "I'll do my best." You won't know until you try, is their emotional appeal. I see my husband doing the same thing right in front of me. I can't help but have a bad feeling about it. But this is not a workplace, it's our home. Since it's our family, I wanted to believe in his motivation. So I agreed to my husband resigning from his job under the condition that he takes care of the household. For the past week, my husband has been working hard, despite being unfamiliar with it. I can see a bit of dust in the corners, but I won't point it out. Since he's making an effort, I believe it's the time to encourage and support him. In the midst of all this, my husband mentioned wanting to attend cooking classes.
I want to improve my cooking skills and treat you to delicious meals, Eleanor.
Thank you. Do your best. I agreed without hesitation. I was happy to see his enthusiasm. I believe that this expense should be spent without hesitation. However, after attending cooking classes for 3 weeks, he started expressing complaints. Even when I come home tired from work, all that's prepared on the table is convenience store lunches. Hey, what have you been doing during the day? I couldn't stay silent anymore after a week of continuous convenience store meals.
I've been studying cooking.
I don't see any results though.
I'm tired, so there's nothing I can do about it.
I understand. Working can be tiring sometimes. Are you tired for a whole week? If it were just a few days, it would be understandable, but this seems like a complete mess.
You don't understand anything, Eleanor. You have no idea how difficult household chores are.
I do understand. That's why I've been expressing my gratitude all along.
But it's actually me who's doing it. You're all talk, Eleanor.
I felt incredibly angry. What was the point of that discussion we had? Well then, don't do the housework anymore.
Huh?
Owen's eyes are sparkling with excitement. He really reminds me of those juniors at the company who only talk big.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because you can't do it, right?
I guess it's not for me. Trying it out made me realize that.
Oh well, in that case, I'll take care of the housework. You should focus on finding a job.
Huh? Why?
Why? I should be the one asking that question. How can you ask why in this situation? You abandoned the housework, so you're unemployed, right? I don't intend to support an unemployed person. Please find a job and make good use of your time. Owen fell silent for a while and then looked at me with wide eyes.
Let's have a child.
Huh?
I'll take care of the child.
Oh, really? Do you even like children? By the way, do you have any qualifications related to education?
No, I don't.
Oh, I see. Well, even without qualifications, you can still work. If you want to, you can try looking for a job.
No, not like that. It's about raising a child. It'll be our child, you know?
What?
Let's have a child. Then it won't be a problem if I stay at home, right?
My affection for him, which had barely held on, was shattered by his words. To this person, it's impossible. Let's get a divorce.
What? Why?
Why did you marry me in the first place? Before marrying me, you were working, putting in so much effort. And yet, right after we got married, you quit your job and said you would do the household chores. I accepted that and have been watching over you, but it didn't last. If being married to me is moving you in a negative direction, that's not a good thing. Besides, I want you to keep your promises. I've been supporting you in my own way all this time. But I'm not a saint. I don't intend to support someone who's fully dependent on me. His expression changed drastically.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I won't rely on you anymore. I'll take care of the household chores properly. Please, don't leave me.
Seeing my husband crying in front of me, my resolve remained unchanged. Even though he was sobbing, I knew that no real solution would come from comforting him now. So I suggested that we have a proper discussion at a later time. I actually wanted to have the discussion right away, but I had a business trip the next day and didn't have the time for a meaningful conversation. Although I felt reluctant to leave, I finished preparing for the business trip. The next morning when I woke up, breakfast was prepared. My husband kept apologizing, saying,
I'm sorry,
multiple times. Thank you for breakfast, it's delicious.
Yeah, I'm glad. When will you be back?
Maybe in 3 days.
Oh, I see. I'll take care of things at home properly. Take care on your business trip, okay?
Yeah, thank you. In front of me is a husband who seems completely heartbroken. It would be a lie to say that my heart is not swayed by his appearance. However, no matter how complicated my personal life may be, I won't let it affect my work. I mentally switched gears and headed to my business trip. I had planned to have meetings spread out over 3 days, but one of the client's representative fell ill, so the meetings were canceled on the second day. I ended up coming back home one day early. I thought about contacting my husband to let him know about the change in plans, but considering the tension between us, I decided to just inform him that the schedule had changed. I was worried that it would further unsettle him. With that in mind, I purchased a ready-made meal and returned home. I'm back! There was no response when I called out at the entrance. The house was completely dark. Maybe he's not home. I walked towards the living room without turning on the lights, and as I opened the door to the living room, there was a loud noise. What? I quickly turned on the lights to find my husband wearing only his underwear collapsed on the floor. Hey, Owen? It was my first experience of feeling completely blank in my mind. I hurriedly approached the living room. What should I do? An ambulance! I quickly called an ambulance. While waiting for them to arrive, I kept calling my husband's name desperately, but he remained unconscious. Afterwards, the paramedics arrived and tried to communicate with my husband, but there was no response.
Please accompany us.
Understood. I was in a state of panic. Oh, I dropped a few side dishes there. Please be careful. I called out to the paramedics to prevent them from slipping on the side dishes I accidentally dropped in a moment of panic, but the scattered side dishes were also at my feet. As I stepped on them and lost my balance, the phone I was holding flew into the air and fell forcefully towards my husband. Did I just hear a voice? I unintentionally made eye contact with one of the paramedics. I gently peered into my husband's face and realized something. Perhaps the paramedics are thinking the same thing. I apologize.
Huh? Oh.
You can go home now, it's fine.
Ah, I see.
Yes, I'm truly sorry for causing a disturbance.
Oh, no worries. Well then, we'll take our leave. They lowered my husband from the stretcher and left the house. I saw them off to the front door. Then something caught my eye. I truly felt sorry. I apologized to the paramedics as well, but if there were people who truly needed them while they were tending to my husband, then what my husband did would be a grave offense. I couldn't forgive it from the bottom of my heart. My husband, wearing nothing but his underwear, was lying on the floor. The season was approaching winter. Surely it must be very cold like this. Wake up quickly. Why did you do such a thing? There was no response from my husband. Hello, Mr. Feigned Illness? Achoo!
You don't sneeze when you're unconscious, right? Wake up already. He seems to have quite the resilience. Ah, that's right. I should dress you in clothes, or you'll be cold. Let me bring some clothes. As I tried to get up and head to my husband's room, something wrapped around my leg.
No!
My husband was desperately grabbing on to my leg. Oh, is the fainting act over?
Absolutely not, because it's no good.
What is it?
Don't come into my room.
Why not?
Sir, it's a surprise. I'm preparing a lot of things for you, Eleanor, when you come back tomorrow. Don't look.
Then it's a surprise for now.
Wait, it's really not allowed.
As my husband hurriedly got up and tried to stop me, the side dishes came in handy. With a swift motion, my husband extended his right leg and accidentally stepped on the side dishes, slamming his body onto the floor.
Ouch.
Ignoring my writhing husband, I forcefully opened the door. Surprise! I already knew. When I saw off the paramedics, there were unfamiliar woman's shoes placed at the entrance. Are you my husband's affair partner? It's not an affair. We're serious, but... Oh, even though you're serious, you were instructed to hide, right? It's to keep me from getting involved. Is that so? You're careless.
No, she's my sister.
Oh, weren't you an only child? Don't tell such obvious lies. Hey, affair partner, do you want to marry him?
Of course. There's no one else as kind as him.
Oh, I see. That's what you say. Well then, I'll grant you a divorce.
Huh? Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Wait a minute. I don't want to divorce you, Eleanor.
Wait, Owen? Didn't you say that you wanted to divorce but your wife wouldn't let you? Wasn't that what you said? Isn't it contradictory?
Hold on. Just shut up already. You're obviously just a fling for me. I like older women who have their own income. You can't support an easy life like mine. Seriously, just shut up, you idiot.
How cruel! You deceived me.
It's the foolish one who gets deceived.
She is sobbing. Well, there's no room for sympathy, though. That's right, it's the foolish one who gets deceived.
Eleanor, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry about this time. I was lonely and ended up playing around, but you are my true love, Eleanor.
No, I'm also one of those who got deceived by you. So you wanted to marry a financially stable older woman to have an easy life, didn't you?
Huh? Did I say something like that?
Oh no. Don't you remember the insults you hurled at your affair partner? You said them right in front of me. I have also woken up. I will divorce you. Of course, as you are the one at fault, I will seek compensation from you. I don't need someone in my life who pretends to faint to cover up their own affair. There is nothing left to hesitate about.
Wait a minute. If you're gone, how am I supposed to go on living?
Work.
Huh?
Work and take care of yourself on your own.
Wait.
We have nothing more to talk about. We'll involve lawyers from now on. My husband stubbornly refused to leave, but when I contacted my in-laws, they took him away. I later claimed damages from the tearful mistress who left in a hurry. I expected to be met with resistance, but surprisingly, she immediately transferred the compensation. She returned to our house with her parents, bowing and apologizing on all fours. Well, she must have believed my husband's lies. Cheating is not commendable, but thanks to her, I'm grateful for having an advantageous position in the divorce proceedings with my husband. If she truly reflects on this matter, I hope she learns from it in the future. About a month after that incident, I divorced my husband. He stubbornly resisted until the end, but my father-in-law silenced him under a reign of fear. He was a foolish man who committed infidelity, but my in-laws are very sincere people. They also managed to defeat him when he greedily demanded a share of the assets. Well, considering we were married for a short time, the issue of asset division doesn't really matter much. It's really insignificant in the grand scheme of things. In the end, my ex-husband handed over $3,000 from his savings as compensation, and we reached a settlement. Afterwards, I heard that he, being unemployed, is assisting my former father-in-law with his occupation as a fisherman. With zero savings and no financial freedom, he is living under the surveillance of my parents-in-law, or so I've heard. Given that, my former father-in-law was determined to instill discipline and had a strong will. I imagine my ex-husband is being treated quite harshly. Meanwhile, I have become somewhat distant from love due to this incident. However, it's frustrating that it's because of him that I ended up like this. If there is another chance someday, I want to seize it without hesitation. After all, life is still long.